It's over. It's over. The national championship game is in the books, and the 2024 college football season is over. And man, that's sad. Let's move this shit out of the way. Great season. This is the Your Season is Over video, national championship game edition. Gonna do something a little bit different on this one. I've just done it in years past too. Yes, this is the point and laugh video. Yeah, we're gonna do some pointing and laughing at Notre Dame, but let's congratulate Ohio State. They are the national champions, the best team in college football. I don't really think there's any debate about that. They won the national title. Great run in the playoffs. Beat three pretty good teams in Tennessee. Four pretty good teams: Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, and now Notre Dame. So congratulations to Ohio State, the players, their coaching staff, of course the Ohio State fans. A great season, and it ends in a national championship. Salute to Ohio State. And let's just stop there. You're the best team in college football this year. Maybe we'll get to some of this at the end. It's a sickness that people have, and it's not just Ohio State. It's like, not even an hour after the game is over, it's not enough that Ohio State wins the national championship. It's not enough for you to congratulate Ohio State on winning the national championship. Now they've got to be the best team, or they're better than this team, or they're better than 2019. Stop all that. Maybe we'll get to some of that at the end, but it's just nothing is ever enough for some people. You're the best team in college football this year, and you're the national champion. Let it rest right there. Let it rest right there. We can get into it at the end, I guess. You lost 2 games, bud. You lost to your rival, bud. You lost to a really bad team, bud. You're not the greatest team of all time. Just stop with that. You're the best team this year, though, and you deserve to win the national title, and you did. You know who's not the best team this year? Rudy. Dang. We're going to have to mess up the cross. Dang. I guess Riley Leonard didn't pray enough. I don't know how that works. Did he not pray enough? Did he not pray hard enough when he prayed? Did he not say the right prayers? I don't know. I mean, listen, if God is the reason that Notre Dame made it to the national championship game, then God's the reason that they lost. You can't just have it one way. Come on, man. Of course, I'm kidding and trolling. God has absolutely nothing to do with who wins a college football game. The better team usually wins, and that was the case yesterday. Whatever God there is out there, whatever God it is you happen to believe in, I would hope he's got a lot more important things to do than to sit around deciding outcomes of college football games. So that whole thing was stupid from the beginning. I don't know why Riley Leonard felt the need to say that. That God was the reason they made it to the national title game, or whatever dumb shit he said. It was retarded. It had nothing to do with it. You were a really good team. You were on a really good team with really good players. You beat a bunch of really good teams in the playoffs. That's what got you to the national title game. Notre Dame didn't get into the national title because Riley Leonard prays more than Quinn Ewers, or Notre Dame as a team prayed more than Texas. That's just insanity, or Georgia, or whoever else. Just stop with that. But 1988 lives on forever, Rudy. I told you you're not winning another national title. I told you that 2 years ago I made that video. Was it 2 years ago? I ran through a list of teams that had been prominent at one point or another during the history of college football that I didn't think would ever win another national title. Teams like Nebraska. I don't remember the whole list. I'd have to go back and watch the video, but Notre Dame was on that list. And you had a good year, but the reality is this is really no different than 2012 for you with Brian Kelly. As much as y'all have enjoyed running around last month kind of pointing and laughing at LSU and Brian Kelly, and look, I'll be the first to admit Notre Dame's in a much better spot right now than LSU is. I think you did upgrade at coach. I would take Marcus Freeman right now over Brian Kelly, so you're right about all that. But the reality is Brian Kelly got you just as far as Marcus Freeman did, didn't he? Way back in 2012, Brian Kelly was in a national title game and couldn't win it. The only real difference between this year's Notre Dame team and every other Notre Dame team between 1988 and now is that we had an expanded playoff which gave Notre Dame an opportunity to win some postseason games, which of course they haven't done at all since 1988. Until this year, they had not won a major bowl game since 1991. They were like 0-13 in their last 13 major postseason games, whether you're talking about BCS games, national title games, playoff games, New Year's Six games, the ACC championship game, the one year they made it there in 2020. They were 0-for. So they did scratch some of that off the list this year. They won a couple of major bowl games. They beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. They beat Penn State in the Orange Bowl, right? So those are the two biggest wins that Notre Dame has in the last 30-odd years, whatever it is, going back to the 1990, well, you're natty in 1988, and then you won, I think, well, you won a major bowl in 1991. Was it the Orange Bowl? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So these two wins this year are the biggest wins you've had since then. So Marcus Freeman and this year's Notre Dame team does deserve a lot of credit. They were a really good team. I think they deserved to be in the national title game, right? That's one thing the 12-team playoff has sort of eliminated is the they didn't deserve to be there argument in terms of the national title game. I'm talking, okay? Now, I know that people are going to go to their grave arguing that some mid-level team ranked 14th should have been ranked 11th and made the playoffs like a South Carolina or whoever else. But none of those teams would have made it to the national title game. They just wouldn't. And Notre Dame did. Notre Dame was a really good team. They've got the loss against Northern Illinois, which remains unexplainable and will be unexplainable to the day I die. But we have seen teams lose unexplainable games before. I mean, chances are, whatever team you're a fan of, you can think back in your head to a loss similar to Notre Dame's Northern Illinois loss. Maybe not quite to that level. You have the Michigan App State thing from almost 20 years ago. There are a few things here and there you can kind of, but the point is, weird things happen. That was just a weird anomaly game. Notre Dame, outside of that Northern Illinois game, was a really good team for the majority, really for the entirety of the college football season. I thought they played I thought they were one of the most well-coached teams, and that's a salute to Marcus Freeman. I think he's a really good coach. He is increasing the talent level there, in my opinion. Now, I don't know what the recruiting rankings would show or like the overall talent index or whatever it is, but those can be a little misleading sometimes. But when you watch Notre Dame play, maybe they've got a similar talent level to what they've had over the last 10 or so years, but I believe that Marcus Freeman is getting more out of those players than, say, a Brian Kelly or certainly any coach prior to that was, again, going back to the 80s and Lou Holtz. And again, so it's all a testament to Marcus Freeman. He's done a remarkable job there. Notre Dame, they don't turn the ball over, or they rarely turn the ball over. They were one of the best teams in the country when it comes to turnover margin. They don't commit a lot of penalties. So, outside of their kicking game, which was a significant problem for the majority of the season, they had the worst field goal percentage in all of college football. Notre Dame did. Outside of that one thing, it's hard to find anything that Notre Dame did bad or was bad at, right? I think they were limited in their passing game this year. I think that's mostly to do with Riley Leonard. And again, I'm not here to crap on Riley Leonard. He had a pretty good year. And it is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Riley Leonard. 2nd and 3, 3rd and 3, 4th and 3. The guy is getting 4 yards every fucking time. It's unbelievable. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my entire lifetime of being a college football fan. Is just knowing. You see Notre Dame line up. And look, I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm not one of these people that, I can tell you what play they're going to run before. I'm not that. I'm just an idiot fan like everybody else that watches these games and overreacts. That's it, okay? Even I know every single time when Notre Dame lines up and it's like 3rd and 3 or something, it's like, well, quarterback draw, Riley Leonard, and he's going to get 4 yards. And then they snap the ball to Riley Leonard. It's a quarterback draw, and he gets 4 yards every single time. So if I know it, I know the opposing defenses know it, but they just can't stop it. Georgia couldn't stop it. Penn State couldn't stop it. Most of the time last night, Ohio State couldn't stop it. Now, Riley Leonard is not the type of quarterback that's going to break off an 80-yard touchdown run on you. He's not, he doesn't have like the home run ability of like a Lamar Jackson from back in the day, or maybe a Jalen Mildew this year or whatever. But he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He seems to get Notre Dame in and out of the right plays, like all the pre-snap stuff. He seems to nail 100%. He's not a great thrower of the football. And look, that's not a knock really on Riley Leonard. Look at some of the national title winning teams over the last few years. Fuck, look at Ohio State. Rate these quarterbacks right now. Justin Fields, C.J. Stroud, Kyle McCord, and Will Howard. Will Howard's fourth on that fucking list, Jack. Now the Ohio State fans are going to get mad about that. Y'all need to get this idea out of your head that if we don't win a national title one year, and then next year we do, everybody on the team that won a national title is better than everybody on the team that didn't. That's not true, okay? It's not true in a national title. It's not true in a game or whatever, like Team A beats Team B, therefore everybody on Team A is better than Team B. No. Justin Fields, C.J. Stroud, and Kyle McCord are a better quarterback than Will Howard, okay? But Ohio State is a better football team this year with Will Howard overall, top to bottom, than they ever were with Kyle McCord, C.J. Stroud, or Justin Fields, period. Now, the 2022 Ohio State team, that was a really good team. Who would y'all pick? If 2022 Ohio State played 2024 Ohio State, it would be a hell of a game. 2022 Ohio State obviously doesn't have Jeremiah Smith, but they've got 3 other NFL wide receivers. They've got the good running backs. They've got C.J. Stroud instead of Will Howard. I think that's an upgrade. The defense is probably better this year, certainly better this year than the 2022 team. If you could take the 2022 Ohio State offense, and look, this year's offense is really good too, but if you could take this year's Ohio State defense and pair it with 2022's Ohio State offense, then you're talking one of the best teams of all time, maybe. Anyway, we're getting off point. Notre Dame, you lost again, which means you really won nothing. You're not in a conference. You know, I'm an idiot Georgia fan. We couldn't even beat Notre Dame. That's how bad Georgia is this year. So bad they lost to Notre Dame. First loss in school history to Notre Dame, by the way. Now 3-1 against the Fighting Rudies. Georgia is. But at least Georgia won the SEC. Notre Dame not being in a conference. Like, what can they win besides a natty? Nothing, I guess. I guess you can brag about winning the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl. I don't know. Anyway, again, you're a good team, but this is the Your Season Is Over video, and you did lose. So we got, if you clicked on this video thinking we weren't going to do a little pointing and laughing, well, I don't know what to tell you. Let's talk about the actual game, though. I do want to give Notre Dame a lot of credit defensively. There were a couple of different points in this game. There was a point in the first half early on, and then a point kind of early in the second half where it looked like Ohio State was about to run away with this thing. And we've seen Ohio State do this to a lot of teams. I talked about it during the live stream last night. Ohio State is probably the only team in the country. They are the only team in the country that can end a game in 8 or 9 minutes. I've seen them do it against a lot of good teams. I saw them do it in the regular season against several teams. They did it against Tennessee. They did it against Oregon. What do I mean by that? I'm talking 8, 9 minutes a game time. Ohio State can put up 21 on you and shut you down defensively in an 8 or 9 minute period and end the fucking game. The Tennessee game was over by halftime. The Oregon game was over by the first quarter. Was it the Indiana game, I think, was close after the first quarter? They scored 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. All of a sudden, it's over. Ohio State is a tidal wave team. And I thought Notre Dame did a pretty good job of not allowing Ohio State to hit the tidal wave on them. Because it looked like it was coming a couple of different times. And then somebody would make a play for Notre Dame defensively or offensively. They would go down and get some points when they really, really needed it to sort of prevent the tidal wave from crashing over Notre Dame and it getting away from them. They stuck in that thing to the end. Now, they ended up losing 34-23. No real controversy in this game, I don't think, in terms of bad calls or targeting issues or even play calling, really. Outside of maybe, Marcus Freeman's decision to kick the field goal down 2 scores late in the game. They kicked the field goal as opposed to going for it. Now, it was 4th and 10. Their odds of getting it aren't great, but their odds of winning that game without scoring a touchdown on that drive weren't great either. So it kind of a hindsight thing, though. I mean, I'm not going to really knock Marcus Freeman too much for that there. If it was my team playing, I would have wanted them to go for it there to get within 1 possession. With the field goal, they still needed to score twice after that. But I don't think it's like some egregious error that Marcus Freeman made. I can see the rationale, I guess, for both sides. I just kind of disagree with the final decision there to kick the field goal. I'd have gone for it. Outside of that, what went wrong for Notre Dame? They couldn't run the ball. And again, it's not that Riley Leonard had a terrible game throwing the ball. In fact, we can take a look at his overall stats here. 22 of 31 for 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. I mean, that's a good game, but he doesn't have Riley Leonard's not going to win the game for you with his arm. He's just not. He doesn't have the ability. Notre Dame as an offense doesn't have the ability to beat you through the air. If they can't run the ball, then against legitimate teams, they're gonna lose the game. And that's what happened here. They could not run the ball. 53 yards rushing for Notre Dame. This is a team that has leaned on people all year. I still think Jeremiah Love is one of the best running backs in the country, and he's only a true sophomore, so he'll be back next year, and I think he's going to be really, really good, and he'll be behind a really good offensive line again next year. We'll see what Notre Dame does quarterback-wise for next year. They've been sort of taking the mercenary route, with one-and-done portal guys. What was the guy last year? Sam Hartman last year, Riley Leonard this year. We'll see what they do next year. But, Notre Dame's leading rusher was Riley Leonard. And I've given a ton of credit to Riley Leonard all season long through the postseason, even for this game, for his ability to pick up those first downs in short yardage situations. It's unbelievable. But if Riley Leonard's your leading rusher, you got issues, you got problems, and that was the case yesterday. Jeremiah Love, 4 carries for 3 yards. That's just not getting it done. In fact, their running backs, Riley Leonard had 17 carries. 17. He had 8 carries on the first drive of the game, and they went down and scored on that drive. But he wore out over time. He became less effective running the ball late in the game versus what he was early in the game. Now, maybe some of that is due to adjustments from Ohio State defensively. Maybe some of that is Riley Leonard wearing down over the course of the game. But their running backs combined had 8 carries. Riley Leonard, 8 carries on the first drive of the game for Ohio State, for Notre Dame. Notre Dame's running backs the entire game, only 8 carries. Jadarian Price, 3 carries for 13 yards, not getting it done. Jeremiah Love, 4 carries for 3 yards. Jordan Faison, I think he's a wide receiver, jet sweep or something, 1 carry for 1 yard. So they ended up with 26 carries for 53 yards. So again, Riley Leonard had 40 yards rushing. Notre Dame as a team had 53. If you just would have told me that one stat before the game, I would have said, well, Ohio State's going to win. Notre Dame's got to be able to run the ball. And Notre Dame fans that are watching this video right now are going to get mad because I don't think Riley Leonard is the next Tom Brady. He's not. He's a great college quarterback, okay? Notre Dame's a college team. It shouldn't matter to you whether or not he's going to be good in the NFL, which, by the way, he's not. He can't throw the ball, okay? He doesn't have it as a passer. You can get mad until the fucking cows come. I don't give a shit. He's not going to make it in the NFL. You didn't need him to be a pocket passer in order to win this year. You didn't need that. You had a great running game all year until yesterday, and it didn't show up. And you got beat by the best team in the country, Ohio State. Now, let's look at speaking of Ohio State, let's look at him, because Notre Dame's got a really good defense, too. One of the best secondaries in the country and a legitimate front seven. How did Ohio State do against that? Well, Will Howard and Riley Leonard are basically the same person. I can't tell the difference between the two. Neither one of these players are elite level QBs. They're just not. And I don't know why people get mad when you point that out. Not every player on your team has to be an All-American or a Heisman candidate in order for you to win a natty. And this game is proof of it. Both of these teams, I can name a list of quarterbacks a mile fucking long that are better than any quarterback in this game yesterday. Why does that matter to you? Those quarterbacks weren't in this game. Your quarterbacks were. That's all that should matter to you. Are you a fucking Riley Leonard fan or are you a Notre Dame fan? And these are two mercenary quarterbacks. It's not like these are two quarterbacks who grew up being Notre Dame fans, committed their junior year in high school and have been all in with Notre Dame or Ohio State from day one. These motherfuckers went somewhere else and then transferred in for 1 year, and y'all are going to the mattresses for them because I'm telling you, they're not NFL caliber QBs. They're not great QBs. Meanwhile, as a team, you're way better than you have been in a long time. Why does that make you mad? I don't understand, but it does. Will Howard, 17 of 21, 231 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. That's with the best wide receiver group on the planet. Great. Running the ball, 214 yards on the ground against this Notre Dame defense. Quinshon Judkins hits the century mark, 11 carries for 100 yards. That's almost 10 yards a carry. Travion Henderson, 12 carries for 49 yards. Will Howard getting it done with his legs yesterday, 16 carries for 57 yards. Actually outrushed Riley Leonard. So are these two bad quarterbacks? No, these aren't bad quarterbacks. These are good quarterbacks. There's 50 good quarterbacks in college football every year. Neither one of these quarterbacks is C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields, or whatever the best quarterbacks Notre Dame has had in the last 20 years. They're not. But as a team, y'all were in the national title game, and that's all that should matter. But y'all are getting mad right now probably in the comments section because I won't tell you that Riley Leonard and Will Howard are generational, elite, talented, superstar, future Hall of Fame, and Pro Bowl fucking NFL quarterbacks because they're not. They're not. So get mad about it, cry. I don't know what else to tell you. On that. But there you go. Notre Dame, your season is over. You lost. You lost. 1988 lives on forever. That's the bad news. The good news is you are off the We're Back list. Per the rules, you're no longer on the We're Back list. You did win not just one playoff game, but you won multiple playoff games. So you are off the We're Back list. And that makes room for somebody new. Now, unfortunately for Florida, Miami, and Tennessee, we've got 3 returning teams to the We're Back list. And those are the 3 teams. Miami, Tennessee, and Florida are back. They're back to being on the We're Back list. Neither one of those teams won anything this year. No conference titles, no playoff wins, nothing. 3 garbage cans. So they remain on the We're Back list heading into the 2025 season. What team will be joining them? I know who it is. I have been asking you guys for about a month now to help me narrow it down onto who will replace Notre Dame on the infamous Uncle Lou We're Back list. And I've got it figured out. I know who it's going to be. I will be debuting the first official We're Back list of 2025 next week. On Monday. Should we do it Monday? I guess we'll do it Monday. I'll put it out Monday. The first official We're Back list of 2025 will come out. Next Monday. As far as the rest of this week goes, well, first of all, call-in show tonight at 9, so feel free to call in. We can talk about the national title game or whatever else you want to talk about in the world of college football. That'll be tonight, Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Another call-in show Thursday night coming up at 9 p.m. Those are the 2 live shows scheduled for this week. And as far as the videos coming out, I've got a right and wrong video. I'll pull up a bunch of my preseason predictions and show you all the ones I got wrong so you can do some pointing and laughing at Uncle Lou. Believe it or not, I know this is going to be hard for some of you to believe, but believe it or not, I got some shit wrong in my preseason predictions. I'll point that out to you in a video probably tomorrow. But anyway, congratulations to Notre Dame and Ohio State for making the national title game. Unfortunately, only one team can win. And unfortunately for Notre Dame, that team was Ohio State and not Rudy. So 1988 will live on forever. I haven't changed my mind. Unless we go back to black and white TVs and the South reinstitutes segregation, I just don't think Notre Dame is winning a national title in modern times. I just don't think they are. They refuse to join a conference. They're stuck on stupid, and for that reason, their season is over. All right, I appreciate you watching. Have a good morning.